Any minute now. We are standing by. Yes, we are. And it's still not there. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, and we are ready to go. Yep. Absolutely ready. No question about it. There we go. And we're live at 106. Yes. With the real news. Folks, on this Friday, when a lot of people are checking out, we don't, because it doesn't mean that the news goes away. No, it does not. So as we are signing on, first of all, we will be on the air next week. So, but right now, as we're letting people file in, as we like to say, we are live right now on AM 1380, 99.9 FM. Yes, it is true. You can listen. I will confirm that. Someone asked me, is it true that during this time, you're also live on both Facebook and X and YouTube? And that is true. I can confirm that, as a matter of fact, with a very powerful connection. We just try to make sure that the lighting is proper, folks. But what a nice sunny Friday that we have right now. And good news. How about the good news with the weather forecast on this Friday, December 27th? That not only is it mostly sunny, it's going to be over 40 degrees, but it's also then going to rain over the next 3 days. I'm looking tomorrow, Saturday morning, rain starting at 11 o'clock. What does that mean? Why is that good news? Well, it's going to wash away all this snow and ice. Sunday, temperature 53. How about Monday, 55? And then Tuesday, New Year's Eve, 49 degrees and sunny. And then New Year's Day, 48 degrees. So all good. And then, folks, hopefully we're going to make it into the new year. And then how about, can you imagine, we hit January, February, and we get, I'll take this 40 degrees, blue sky, and sunny. I mean, I'll take this anytime. So now I I recognize there are some people that ski and say, well, wait a minute, that's not what I'm looking for. Well, that's fine. What I like is if you are a skier, there's plenty of places you can go and ski. You can travel to New Hampshire. You can travel to Vermont. You can travel to Canada or out west or Colorado or Utah, wherever you want to go. But we are better off. Less snow, the better. All right. Now, right now, at 109 on this Friday, December 27th. Folks, this portion of the real news. Yep. And it's brought to you by J&B Plumbing. Now, if you need a plumber, maybe you're having an emergency type situation. If that's the case, call J&B Plumbing today. 401-743-9153. I'll go first. Listen, it's not easy to find a reliable, dependable plumber, but I have one, and I'm willing to share them with you. It's J&B Plumbing, the dream team. Call them today. Again, if you have a plumbing situation, call Jimmy and Tommy at J&B Plumbing today. Whatever, hold on one moment. Whatever the situation may be, maybe for the reason you have some clogged pipes, or maybe things are just not working properly in your heating system, call J&B Plumbing today. Give them a call today. There we go, JR. Oh, I don't know why JR kicked off again. Having a minor issue, and I don't have an answer why. Having a minor issue with the radio connection that I believe we have straightened out right now. Good, excuse me. That should be fine. We'll monitor. Nope. I don't know what. Wow. All right. it keeps clicking off, and I'm not exactly sure why it's clicking off, but we're going to make sure. Again, the video portion is totally fine. The video, nope, and it keeps it keeps clicking off. So I'm going to and I don't have an explanation as to why it's clicking off. It's normally totally fine, and right now it's fine, and I'll continue to monitor it, and hopefully our connection is going to remain intact just like that at 111 on this Friday. JR, I think we're good to go. Folks, remember, J&B Plumbing. Hey, listen, when you're dealing with technology, things can go wrong. Anyone that watched the Christmas broadcast, think of how much time Netflix, time and money they spent to get ready for their NFL games on Christmas, and they still had some, challenges. There can still be, hey, look at the chaos going on right now with the security breach. So, but right now, JR, I'm looking at a clean connection. I think we're going to be fine. Folks, remember, J&B Plumbing, plumbing repair and service. Right now, on this Friday, maybe you're saying, oh my God, I need to call a plumber. Call J&B Plumbing today, 401-743-9153. Call the Dream Team. It's Tommy and Jimmy at J&B Plumbing. They can repair damaged water pipes. They can repair a clogged pipeline. They can replace a water heater, as well as other plumbing needs. J&B Plumbing, 401-743-9153, and then look for them on Facebook. Well, folks, don't forget our website, depetro.com. I want to thank the Cohasset Inn. They've been big sponsors of our website, depetro.com. They're signed on for the new year. 226 Cohasset Avenue, West Warwick. Now, right now, we have 4 mugs left. 4 mugs left in the market at Cohasset. One of a kind, custom made. Carol designed it. Custom made mugs. Once they're gone, they're gone. And I mean, they're going to be gone because we're never doing this again. $20 purchase, gift with purchase. You go into the market at Cohasset. You purchased anything for $20. You then say, hey, I'd love to get that free mug. Boom, you're given the mug. Now, if you walk in there and spend $20, but don't mention the mug, spoiler alert, you're not getting the mug. It's for those that go in and ask for the mug. Someone contacted me yesterday. Hey, we didn't get our free mug. Did you spend $20 at the market at Cohasset Inn? Yes. Did you then ask them for the mug? No. Ask for the mug. Holy cow. 4 left. Never doing this again. The Cohasset Inn, 226 Cohasset Avenue in West Warwick. Well, folks, crime continues to be the name of the game in my mind for not only this year, but also next year. Now, those of you that watch Road Patrol, when we're out, boy, if there was ever a time in the way that the state continues to operate as a sanctuary state, you need to protect yourself. Now, folks, someone, and he's just been such an addition to the program, and I'm so proud to have him on. He's good enough to take time out and join us, and it's my gun guy. It's George from Rhode Island Guns and Ammo, who joins us on this Friday. Good afternoon, George.
John, good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm doing great. You look great. First of all, how was Christmas Day?
It was excellent. Got to spend it with the family, people that I love, so I couldn't ask for anything more. How about yourself, John?
Yeah, absolutely perfect. And I'm very enthusiastic about the new year coming in. But with George, what people need to realize is if there was ever a time that people need to take care and protect themselves, it's right now in the path that we're on in this state.
It's the truth of the matter, John. I mean, at the end of the day, we see it every day in the news. Some of us are living it day in and day out. Violence is on the rise. Crime's on the rise. You need to do something to be able to protect yourself. Again, unless you're looking to become a statistic, you should consider, getting something to be able to protect yourself.
George, what was your reaction with the crime in New York, where the illegal from Guatemala set that woman on fire?
I don't even have words for it, John. I'll be quite honest for you. I mean, that is such a despicable act. That poor lady was just sitting there, and this guy, for no reason, none whatsoever, didn't even try to rob her, just decided to light her on fire. I mean, and you got to ask yourself, over the last 4 years, how many of these folks came into this country that would have no problem lighting you on fire? That's what you really should be asking yourself right now.
We are also, folks, again, it's George at Rhode Island Guns and Ammo, Post Road in Warwick, right down the street from Greg's. Now, George, Christmas was Wednesday. Today is Friday. Are they already coming in with the gift certificates that they received for Christmas?
Oh yeah, they come in with those right away. I probably got 2 or 3 that are still out. They came in yesterday. They'll be coming in again today. People use those up right away. So if you got a gift certificate, come on down. We got a ton of stock available. We got a bunch of stuff showing up today. So we're in good shape right now.
Hey, listen, it's a great gift. And a lot of people, they then see, people over the course of the weekend or even into early next week. So you could stop in, folks, Rhode Island Guns and Ammo, Post Road in Warwick, right down from Route 37 in Greg's, and you could get a gift certificate. Now, George, also, we are noticing on the rise, there's more robberies, armed robberies at stores or robberies. There's a lot of knife incidents, and there's even Chris Cranston was experiencing home invasions. So much of what I have talked about, the crime is spreading to the suburbs. So people in Cranston, and I spoke with one of the people off the record, they're asleep, they wake up and they can hear someone inside their home. George, this is the time people need to protect themselves.
Absolutely, John. I mean, again, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but the suburbs is where folks with money live, and that's where these criminals are going to go. So again, if you've got a house and you've got valuables and you've got family, and you're the man of the house, or even the woman of the house nowadays, I mean, 35% of our customers are now female. You should consider yourself, or you should have a firearm available to yourself, just in case. You ensure every aspect of your life. What do you do to ensure your family's safety?
Hey, listen, it's another form of insurance. It's another form of security, and it's the most important. Now, George, also, what do you make of the fact that President Trump is saying, maybe we're going to expand the United States. Maybe, these nations that we're giving aid to, maybe they should become part of the United States. Maybe we should expand our land base. Hey, the Panama Canal, we're not going to let the Chinese take that over. Maybe we're going to control the Panama Canal. I love it.
It's a great idea, but I'd love to see them fix the problems in the United States before we start taking on everybody else's problems. We got 20 million problems from around the world that decided to show up, into our country. And yep. Let's start with them. Let's fix that problem, and then we can go see what's going on with the Panama Canal, and then we could talk about, annexing Canada. You know what I mean? But let's take care of our people first.
Now, George, what else? What do you have in stock or in the store right now that people that are listing, firearm enthusiasts, that they may really be interested in?
Well, we got the new Glock 47 that showed up a few months back, but it is in stock. It was a hot item for a little while. Also, the new Smith & Wesson Bodyguard. That thing's been extremely hard to get. We've got a couple of those available currently. If that's something you're looking to pick up, a little concealed carry firearm, definitely have it, available. And we've got a bunch of consignment firearms that are supposed to show up today. So we'll have a nice stock of used guns. We've got about, I'd say 40 plus firearms now that are used for, if you're tight on a budget, you can save yourself a little bit of money there, but we got a ton more stuff coming in. Not exactly sure where, and what it is, but it's supposed to be a ton of stuff coming in today. And we had a bunch of antique World War II firearms that showed up too, for any of those World War II enthusiasts that might be looking for that one hidden gem.
Wow. Now I want to mention I got 2 emails this morning. You actually have a fan base now. Both Ernie and Frank emailed me. Are you having the gun guy on today? So folks, there he is. You can talk to him in person. George,
There I
Rhode
am.
Island Guns and Ammo. There he is. Post Road in Warwick. Stop down and see him. George, great to see you. Keep up the good work, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, John. We'll see you next week.
Folks, there he is. George at Rhode Island Guns and Ammo. Pop in and see him whenever, whether it's today or tomorrow. Well, good afternoon. Folks, this is the real news. Now, as you know, and I want to mention, this weekend, between now and New Year's, as the weather is getting mild like this, as the weather is mild in this manner, that means a lot of times there's more people out. What does that mean? That means the crime increases. So I'm going to jump ahead and answer the question. Yes, we'll be doing Road Patrol Live later today, the breakout hit of 2024. Now, as far as we're going to monitor the rain. We're going to monitor the rain because I'm seeing right now that the forecast that we're totally dry for the rest of today and into tonight. But then tomorrow the rain moves in. I'm seeing around like 1 o'clock. Now, hopefully that clears out. And the same thing for Sunday and Monday. I mean, we are going to be in action over the course of the weekend. And folks, those of you that follow and watch, I want to thank everyone, by the way. I mean, things are just rocketing right now. We are right now, all of our platforms. What a breakout year this has been for the program. And then there's going to be more next year. I mean, this year, I was speaking with someone last night, and obviously the Perkins arrest was huge. The Karen Reed trial coverage, the chosen one there was Julie Grant on Court TV joining us right now, the host and creator of Road Patrol Live. And then we have the second trial coming up. That'll be in the spring. But right now, we're gaining 1,000 new followers a week on the Facebook page. 1,000 new followers a week. Do the math, 4,000 a month. So early next year, we're going to surpass 100,000 followers on Facebook. TikTok, we're up to over 82,000 followers on TikTok. We're going to surpass 100,000 followers on TikTok sometime in next month, in January, unless something extraordinary happens between now and next Wednesday. And then Instagram was brand new with the program this week, this year, leaned into it. We're about to hit 40,000 followers on Instagram, and I put like no effort into that at all. All I do is recycle a lot of the TikTok stuff. And then YouTube, we leaned into YouTube. So TikTok is, by the weekend, we'll be over 40,000 followers on Instagram. And then on YouTube, we're over 45,000, and that'll start to creep 50,000 and so forth. So, folks, very, very happy. And then obviously DePietro.com continues to crank along. And then you can always depend on us with the radio show as we just continue to move along. So again, I want to thank everyone that continues to support us. And I do want to give you some of the news of the day, because there's a good story in the Boston Herald that I want to just quickly mention that I think also kind of pertains to what's going on in Rhode Island. And one of the things is that I noticed that it's not being covered in Rhode Island, and and it's one of those things that I don't have a problem if the local media doesn't want to cover it, because I think it's a big story and it's just better for us in covering it. But folks, as you know, those of you that watch Road Patrol, over the course of the weekend, television viewership is down. Forget about newspapers. That's just not happening. And so the weekend, our coverage, that's when the live streaming and Road Patrol Live really, really kicks in. This portion of the program, though, is brought to you by Kids Club on the Pike. Remember, birthday parties, they have before and after school programs, preschool programs. Kids Club on the Pike. It's clean. It's built and designed for children, and it's easy to get to. It's right off of 295, right on the Cranston-Johnson line, right on Plainfield Pike. Kids Club on the Pike. Everything that children would love, whether they're 2 years old, whether they're 1 year old. a year old, or whether they're 13 years old. Kids Club on the Pike, they have different interests for children. You're going to love it. Look for them on Facebook, Kids Club on the Pike. Folks, I also want to remind you, I did get an email from Ellen, who was asking me, she needs some branches trimmed. Who did I recommend? JD Lawn Care and Tree Service. Call them today, 401-441-0154. JD Lawn Care and Tree Service. They're based right in Coventry. Well, folks, coming up in the new year, I don't know what's going to happen as far as Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee. I mean, part of me, the fact that he clapped back at Helena Foulkes, that tells me that he's not done yet. I can tell you a lot of people in the Democrat Party are encouraging him to not run for re-election. And they're kind of positioning themselves. In the next 6 months, now right now, today is Friday, December 27th. In the next 6 months, we're going to find out whether or not Governor Dan McKee is going to run for re-election and Helena Foulkes. Now, the fact that Governor McKee took the shot at Helena Foulkes about CVS executives, that tells me that he's looking to run for re-election. And we want him to run for re-election, because if there's anyone that shouldn't run for re-election, it's him. But the story that I'm talking about in the Boston Herald, President Trump looms large over Massachusetts politics in 2025. Now, this, this story should be written. This story should be written about the Rhode Island State House. For whatever reason, it's not, but it should be written, because they talk about things like energy policy and immigration. So at Beacon Hill, on Beacon Hill in Massachusetts, in Boston, they're going to be focused on the fact that a lot of their core issues are not in line with the new administration. And folks, as I have told you, the same could certainly be said about the Rhode Island State House. The Rhode Island State House, and in many ways, I think in many ways, the Rhode Island media is not capturing just how disappointed so many people are with the landscape of how things are going, and they're not happy with the direction that the state is taking. And a good example, I also want to mention that I know there's a story about a DOT whistleblower, but what you need to know is it has nothing to do, it has nothing to do with the bridge. It should be about the bridge. But what it has to do with is the laborers and the unions. And the laborers continue to control Rhode Island DOT. Folks, if there's one state, hear me out, if there's one state that is not built on this Friday, December 27th, about what's about to happen in the new administration. I mean, Rhode Island's not alone, don't get me wrong, but the state is not prepared for what the Trump administration is going to do. Governor McKee forced, when you hear about green energy and all these, wind energy and green energy and the green economy, it's all nonsense. And what what Rhode Island did was all these companies that want to invest in that and open, they forced organized labor on them. They forced the unions. So the unions control it. Folks, what President Trump is going to do is lower energy costs. So all this business, it's completely backwards. And as far as immigration, as much as you have Governor Healy, and I played it, the governor of Massachusetts saying, well, we're not a sanctuary state. And Governor McKee says the same thing. Oh, we're not a sanctuary state. I'm telling you right now, under the new administration coming in, Rhode Island is run as a sanctuary state. What I find laughable is there are no stories about this locally, none. There's no stories about it. No one questions it. They all go along almost like the honor system. They take him at his word. when Governor McKee says, oh, no, we're not a sanctuary state. Folks, just because he says that doesn't mean that it's true. This is the administration. McKee, Matos handed out driving privilege cards that look identical to a license. So for Governor McKee, for the Rhode Island governor to say, oh no, we're not a sanctuary state, you're giving driving privileges to people who are not citizens. That's in essence like the definition of a sanctuary state is the driving privileges. Now, when you have the governor of Massachusetts already panicking, Maura Healey, saying, oh, we're not a sanctuary state. We're not. They spent $1 billion on putting them up in these different shelters and hotels. What do you call that? What do you call that? Oh, well, Massachusetts has a right to shelter law. No, that's for citizens. That's not for people coming in from other countries. I also noticed something, and I want to point this out, and it's interesting. So you had the illegal from Guatemala that set that woman on fire in New York. And I posted on Facebook that Rhode Island, outside of Guatemala, the largest population of people from Guatemala, outside of the country of Guatemala, the largest population of Guatemalans is in Rhode Island. And I put that, the 401. And people, oh, that's racist. Oh, that's right. See, here's something I'll warn you about. There are people out there, and it's the progressive far left. They feel that if you talk about illegal immigration, that you're a racist. That, as we all know, that's moronic. That's ludicrous. I've been dealing with this for years, where they say, well, you're a racist. And I say, based on what? What racist statement? Well, the way you talk about the illegals, that doesn't make you, and I want to be clear, that doesn't make you a racist. But be prepared for McKee and Matos. Folks, what no one is covering right now is Maura Healey, the governor of Mass, is caving on a lot of policies. Why? Because they can't afford to lose any federal funding. None. And they stand to lose a lot if they don't get in line. Folks, you know what state is completely reliant on federal funds, even more than Massachusetts? You guessed it. Who is still taking, under Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee, one of the last states to still keep taking all the COVID money? And here's the part that I want to that no one talks about. The state workforce is out of control. The state workforce, there's way too many people that work for the state. It's way too heavy. Under the past couple of years, under Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee, every year he just keeps adding more and more state workers, and they're all unionized. And you know what's in their contract for being a state worker? No layoff clause. No layoff clause. Rhode Island, basically same population as New Hampshire, smaller landmass. Our budget is double that of New Hampshire. Double. And guess what? It's coming to an end. Absolutely coming to an end. The Rhode Island budget, $14 billion. The state doesn't need a budget. How does New Hampshire handle and survive? New Hampshire has a budget under $10 billion. What would happen if Rhode Island's budget, and so much of that is federal money, wasted, and all these jobs at the Rhode Island State House that the unions just keep pushing through? We want 15 more jobs here and 15 more jobs here. What is Governor McKee going to do with all those jobs if the federal government, the Trump administration, says, guess what? You're getting $2 billion less. Forget about the money for the bridge. Folks, what no one is talking about, and I mean none of the local media that I see is talking about it, is the state is basically on the verge of completely collapsing. Because also, if the state doesn't get all that federal money, the state doesn't have state aid to give out to all these cities and towns. As I have talked about, the city of Providence receives over $300 million in state aid for their schools. $300 million for their schools. And who are these students in the schools? Providence doesn't need all those schools. Providence could close half of the schools. I also want to mention where the Providence Journal, to me, is totally going off the cliff. And I mean completely going off the cliff. But folks, I want to remind you about Propane Plus. What a year they've had. Talk about energy. Propane Plus, heating and cooling, 401-885-4209. In Rhode Island, call Propane Plus today, 401-885-4209. In Massachusetts, 508-252-3359. Propane Plus for heating and cooling. Remember, they have a great user-friendly website. It's propaneplus.com. You just log on, type in your zip code, residential or commercial. You can depend on Propane Plus. Call them today, 401-885-4209. Happy New Year from everyone at Propane Plus. The Providence Journal has come out with a story I stumbled into. 20, here's the Journal, 25 to watch in 2025. Here's 25 people the Journal thinks you should be watching. You want to talk about a newspaper that is so out of touch. The Providence Journal, now again, normally I try to refrain. The 25 to watch in Rhode Island. Number one, Val Lawson, the Senate president, handpick the number 2 from East Providence, Senator Val Lawson. That's the number one person they have. Folks, she's the head of NEA Rhode Island. They don't even mention that in their little thing about her. At a time of concern about Senate President's health, the handpicked number 2 will have a lot of responsibility. The Journal doesn't even mention that she is the head of NEA Rhode Island, which is the public schools are collapsing. People are tired of the wokeness. That's who the Journal has as the number one person. She is in East Providence with the bridge problems. And also, they don't even mention the fact that she is NEA Rhode Island with the teachers union. In the Journal 25, there's nothing about charter schools or Catholic schools or private schools. Catholic schools have seen a huge uptake, not only just here and not only just in Massachusetts, across the country. The public school model has failed, and yet the Journal has Lawson as number 1. Also on the list, someone who's the director of the Center for Southeast Asians. I have no idea what that's all about. Who else is on the list of 25 people? The founder, executive director of Congress of the Birds. Someone else is building Rhode Island's first avian release center, whatever that means. President CEO of Brown University Health, John Fernandez. All right, well, that one I'll actually give you. The Rhode Island FC general manager, head coach. Oh, yeah, the most expensive soccer stadium. President URI, that's fine. Now they put in the guy from Hasbro, as if that's going to make him not leave. They have the front man for a total crook down on Aquidneck Island. Well, let's get down to, they also have, where is it? Mary Beth Calabro, new president of the Rhode Island Federation of Teachers. Folks, not one, two union people connected with the public schools on the list at a time that public school enrollment is at an all-time low and dropping lower. They're not, and then they also have the executive director of Dorcas International. I mean, that's the Journal 25. Is there any true business person on the list? No. The guy from Hasbro. Hasbro's leaving. Do they have anyone from charter schools or private school? No. No. 2 union heads. Folks, don't you understand that the state newspaper, they are so lost. The Journal, it is actually sad. Someone posted, I meant to mention, I think it was on Christmas Eve, from the Journal put, having fun at the Journal holiday party. There were like 10 people in the photo. I mean, their printing press is leaving. It's over. But they don't even realize why it's over. They don't even realize why it's over. That's their 25 to watch. The teacher, public education is on the decline. People are tired. In Rhode Island, the public schools, total disaster. All the transgender stuff, all the bathrooms, all the wokeness, BLM flags in the classroom. Folks, in Providence, Pawtucket, Central Falls, if they start to weed out some of the illegals, you could literally close half of the schools in the city of Providence and half in the city of Pawtucket. And they're still not at full capacity. The reason I mention that is just how much the Journal, they don't even realize, gee, why are we out of touch with our readers as they do another expose on canoeing down, the Blackstone River, or finding antique shops in Jamestown, as if anyone's concerned about that. The bridge and the data breach. This state is literally ready to go off the cliff. I mean, that people, I don't even hear anyone on Smith Hill talking about what's about to happen. I mean, an earthquake of epic proportions. And I'm not talking about the first 6 months of the year. I'm talking about after July, when the new fiscal year kicks in. Folks, this portion of our program is brought to you by AJ Home Improvement. Maybe it's time to improve your home, fix up your home. AJ Home Improvement, home or business, call them today, 401-323-9252. Frame to finish basements, acoustical ceilings, additions, commercial rehabs, painting, remodeling, they can do it all. AJ Home Improvement, 401-323-9252. Maybe you have an unfinished basement. Maybe you have an unfinished garage. AJ Home Improvement, 401-323-9252. Well, folks, at 1:43, we also want to say happy birthday, Chris Moran, big part of the program. Happy birthday to Chris. Folks, do you see what's happening is I find that our local media is not plugged in what's really about to happen between Elon Musk and Vivek. There's too much government spending in this state, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. There's way too much. Every government, local government, way too heavy. You don't need all these people. The past few years, it started under Chafee, it accelerated under Raimondo, and then under Governor McKee, the floodgates open, adding more and more jobs, more state employees. Every other business, every other private business continues to, get more efficient, and people are working and with less people, not with the state workforce. The state workforce, I mean, what a haircut it needs to take. The state is not built. I am telling you right now, the state is not built for what's about to happen. And no one can operate that way. You deserve to keep more of your money. You're not getting bang for the buck. You're not. The roads are a disaster. So, folks, I believe not only will the country and the state be more efficient, but something that they're also talking about is America needs to get healthy again. And this is going to be a big focal point in the new year. How many people, when you were out, holiday shopping, and you see some people that America has to get healthy again. So many Americans are obese, overweight, and then they take and use all these medications to handle their condition. Someone who's made a life commitment to keeping healthy, keeping you healthy, keeping your family healthy is, as we call her, the Queen of Health. It's Marie at It's My Health. Good afternoon, Queen of Health.
Good afternoon and happy almost New Year.
That is exactly right, Marie. Get the phone if you have to. We
No,
can wait.
it's okay.
No,
Don't call back.
All right. Marie, as we're coming into the final weekend of 2024, this is the time of year that people do start to make New Year's resolutions. People do start to say, I need to get healthy. I need to get in shape. And I believe popping in and seeing you at It's My Health, 1099 Mendon Road in Cumberland is a good place to start.
Well, we do our best, right? We try to offer products that are helpful to people, and we try to be helpful to people with, whatever they have going on or whatever questions they have. We don't have all the answers. We do know people who do have answers, and we can send people. We do lots of recommendations as well. But we do our best, and we try to have the best products, and we pass along all the savings that we can possibly get. So, we encourage people to come in and check us out, see what we have, ask us questions, and see how we can help.
What are some of the products you have for us this afternoon?
Well, I was just thinking about, we're in winter now for sure. And, it's going to be a rainy kind of weekend. It's going to be maybe a little bit warmer, but it's going to feel raw. So I was thinking some of the teas, local Jamu makes just wonderful chai type teas, really good for the digestion and nice and warming, for this time of year. And then lots of people, getting sick. So things like throat coats, cold weather teas. And we also have some teas, these here at the Ticino. So people who are trying not to drink coffee, but they can be nice and warming, really nice teas. And if you need to detox from everything that you've been eating, we do have some nice detox teas. And of course, our local honey that you can put with just about everything.
Marie, there's a lot of people that are sick right now from seeing people at holiday parties, Christmas parties.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I don't know about them coming in, but definitely a family member. But there's a lot of sickness going around right now.
Yeah, and we do have them coming in. Someone was just in a little bit ago with a sore throat. So, gave her recommendations for what to do with a sore throat. A lot of people with colds, a few people with COVID. So, yeah, whatever it is, we just try to deal with it. We have products for those things to help with the symptoms, to help feel better, to help get over whatever is ailing as quickly as possible.
I'm glad you said that. There's a lot of people that have COVID right now, Marie. What would you recommend for anyone that's listening or watching that has COVID?
Well, definitely lots of vitamin C. Obviously, stay put. Don't go out and spread it out some more. Try to take the rest. It's hard this time of year because there's so much going on. But if you can stay quiet, relax, take some vitamin C, some zinc. We have a product called Hybrid CR, primarily for cold relief, but it does help with COVID as well. The pharmacist who put that together is pretty ingenious. It can shorten the duration, but obviously if you have really severe symptoms, then you may need to go see a doctor or get to the hospital. But for the most part, it's like a pretty bad cold. So we're able to deal with that with the common things that we use for colds.
Folks, pop in and see the Queen of Health. Stock up. It's about yourself. It's about health. It's about It's My Health, 1099 Mendon Road in Cumberland. Marie, what are your hours for the rest of today, Friday, and what are your hours for tomorrow?
So we'll be here till 5:30 today and tomorrow from 9 to 4.
You are the Queen of Health. Keep up the good work, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, John. Take care.
All right, folks, there it is. Marie, isn't she just fantastic? Marie at It's My Health, 1099 Mendon Road in Cumberland. Well, folks, good afternoon at 1:50. This portion of our program is brought to you by Watson Materials. As people are deciding that they're not going to sell their home, they want to improve their home, and they want to improve the outside of their home. Watson Materials, the largest selection. They carry the largest selection of landscape materials in Rhode Island, located 1500 South County Trail in East Greenwich. You can call them at 401-885-0600. Find them online at watsonmulch.com. Watson Materials, 401-885-0600, whether it's landscape lighting or pavers or retaining walls or cobblestone, decorative stone. Watson Materials, the most complete selection of landscape materials in Rhode Island. Call today. Improve the outside of your home or business. 401-885-0600. Well, folks, good afternoon. For those that are watching, this is just some of the merchandise that we have. 401 that we have right on our online shop at depetro.com, where we also have mugs and glasses. And in the new year, we're really going to start to expand into some different merchandise. I really like the idea of a magnet or a sticker, but I think a magnet would be better for your car that simply says Fire McKee. Folks, I don't hear any warning. I believe this is my thought right now. If first of all, at 1:52 on this Friday, they're not leaders on Smith Hill. They're elected officials, but they're not leaders. A leader would lead. The state is about to go over a cliff. The state is way too reliant on federal funds. The state of Rhode Island under Rhode Island Governor McKee is completely ill-prepared for the new administration coming in, which is the new administration favors charter schools. The new administration favors Catholic schools. The new administration favors school choice and private schools and Catholic schools and charter schools. This state, the state of Rhode Island, McKee is a puppet to the public school teachers unions that continue to completely underperform. I've talked about the energy. I've talked about also the amount of illegals, how McKee runs it as a sanctuary state. Something else that doesn't get highlighted. Senator Reid and Senator Whitehouse, they're not going to have the power in Washington that they've had. They're not. They're in the minority. Seth Magaziner, so he likes to go on cable news on MSNBC and he likes to bash the White House. He doesn't have any power in D.C. Rhode Island Congressman Seth Magaziner and Gabe Amo is more useless than him. We have no juice in D.C. We have no one that has inroads to the new administration. And the policies that are set up are not set up to capitalize on the new administration in any way. I don't hear anyone sounding the alarm. To me, this is like akin to a Category 5 hurricane coming off the coast, and there is no one sounding the alarm. For those that know the state, one of the most vicious storms that ever hit the state was, they called it the Wake of 38. Obviously, I wasn't alive. 1938, the state, the country was not fully prepared for hurricanes. And it hit in September of 1938, and it was devastating. And people were not prepared for it in any way. They didn't have everything in motion. Think of everything that's in place now when you saw what just happened in Florida. But that was a very powerful storm that came in, and they didn't have the mechanisms in place to warn people. I'm telling you right now, with what's going to happen with the new administration and McKee, and the fact that Dominic Ruggiero and Val Lawson, those two people, are the head of the state Senate, they're totally unprepared. They have completely the wrong priorities where people are and what their priorities are. Totally. Senate President Dominic Ruggiero, who looks like he has 1 foot in the grave, he said his priority in the new year is a ban on assault weapons. Do you hear anyone talking that way? As someone that covers crime all the time, some of the problems are a lot of the stabbing incidents. Some of the problems are the criminals that get the guns. But you can't, you have to stop the criminal element. Look at that illegal from Guatemala who lit the woman on fire in New York. You can't have criminal elements coming in. What's Governor McKee doing? He insists on running a sanctuary state. Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee said he's willing to stand up to the Trump administration. No, he's not. He's in no position to stand up. The people we have in Washington, they don't have any juice in Washington. We need a Republican senator, and the state needs a Republican senator, and the state needs a Republican congressperson. That's what the state needs. Now, I noticed in Massachusetts, 2 things I noticed. One, Scott Brown sure looks like he may run for the Senate in New Hampshire. I think that'd be a big move. I also was reading a story that Charlie Baker, the former governor, that things are going well where he is, but I wouldn't be surprised if he then makes a run against that leftist Markey. And Massachusetts would have a Republican in the Senate. New Hampshire would have a Republican in the Senate. This business of having all Democrats, it's a failure. It's a failure. It should not be that way. They're useless. There's no one more useless than Congressman Gabe Amo. Fully on board with Biden, junior congressman. He has no power, no juice. He and Magaziner are useless to the state. There's no one to even contact. Folks, this portion of our program, if you're thinking of a new kitchen to start off the year, contact Dennis and Christina at Dream Maker. Call them 401-433-7272. Their beautiful design center right on Greenwich Avenue, right near Crown Plaza. Dream Maker. Call them 401-433-7272. Your dream kitchen or bath is with Dream Maker. And remember, respect, integrity, customer focus. Dream Maker Bath and Kitchen. Call them today. You're going to love the upgraded living with your bath or kitchen remodel today in their state-of-the-art showroom. 401-433-7272 for Dream Maker. Now, on top of that, you have Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey, the governor of Mass, saying, we're not a sanctuary state. You have Governor McKee and Matos handing out driving permits. What does that mean? It means a lot of illegals are going to be moving into the Rhode Island area. You have Governor McKee, who is opening, quote, the safe injection center, which is ludicrous. As you have the Trump administration saying we have to stop the fentanyl from coming into the country, Governor McKee is saying, oh, no, we just have to clean it, make sure it's safe for people to use it. We just need to make sure that the drugs are safe when people are snorting them and when they're shooting them up and taking them. It's ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense in any way. You watch. This state is about to be turned upside down. All right, it's Friday. Our radio program resumes Monday at 11. For those of you that enjoy Road Patrol Live, yes, we'll be out tonight. And then we'll see over the course of the weekend. It's tough to ride around in the rain. Obviously, if there's a scene, we'll be at the scene. But if you're listening to the radio, stay tuned for the 2 o'clock news. Everyone that's watching, yes, we'll be back with Road Patrol Live later. In the meantime, we have a nice sunny Friday. Get out and enjoy 40 degrees and temperatures heating up. And yes, we'll be on next week leading into New Year's. Enjoy this Friday. We'll see you later on Road Patrol.